So life continued to kind of just take a spiral, not coming home from school, not really having anything to eat. And of course, going to school, I didn't even really pay attention because I was constantly being talked about and bullied psychologically because I didn't have clean clothes and new shoes and things of that nature. And so I made up this equation with my limited thinking. You got to understand, I'm not mentally developed enough to kind of deal with all the trauma that I'm experiencing. And so I made up this thing. I was like, okay, if I can get them to laugh with me instead of at me, then this will divert, the attention from me. But what the whole time I was hurting myself because I became the class clown. So I was never in school. I was always in trouble, right? And so after that, when I was 13, I remember coming home after going through all of that for years on end. Was coming home from school. And when I got to where I live, I noticed that all of our things were sitting out on the side of the road. So to bring it into context, my mom was so addicted to drugs, she didn't pay the rent. It was only $50, okay? And we ended up getting put out. And from that day, my whole life changed.
So you got put out because mom couldn't afford $50.
Yeah.
And so that had to do something about your idea of money too, or didn't it?
Exactly. And so you got to understand, we're not mentally developed enough until we're 27 fully.
Yeah.
Right? So you got to understand, put it in the context, I'm a child, right? I don't know, I'm a child, I'm 13, right? And so on the walk because my granny always told me, she said, Robert, if anything ever happens, you get to my house. This was my mom's dad's mom, my great grandmother, who I love, God rest her soul. That was my angel there. She always had my back. I was her Rob. That's what she called me.
Great grandma.
Yeah, that's my baby. So she said, little Robert, you get to my house. I said, yes, ma'am. So I remembered that when that traumatic situation happened, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know where I was going to sleep. And my mom wasn't there. Nobody was there. And so I walked to my grandmother's house on the other side of North Nashville, about a 45-minute walk. And on that walk, my concept of money changed because in my limited thinking, the only thing that could have changed that from a kid's perspective is money. And so money became my God at that moment.
And how old were you?
I was 13.
13 years old, you come home, everything's on the street, mom's not there, you run to great grandma because that's what you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
And on that 45-minute walk, money became, like, if I can get money, I'm out of these problems.
I kept saying to myself, when I grow up, I'm never going to be broke again. Then I cry, and then I get mad, and then I tell myself, when I grow up, I'm never going to be broke again. And then my kid side to kick in, and I cry some more. One of those snotty cries, because I'm hurt. I don't understand what's going on. I understand, but I don't understand. And yeah, at that point, man, that little kid became another person.
And so your decision, I'm assuming, I'm never going to be broke again. So you looked at your resources and said, hey, who are the people that have money around me? And they were dealing drugs. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yeah. You got to understand it. And a lot of people don't understand that. I was telling a friend today, I was like, a lot of my friends don't understand the concept of poverty. Okay? Like, ghettos were created, man. Like, you have a lot of low income, marginalized people in one area. There isn't any hope. Hope is only created when you can see something greater to aspire to. And when you don't, you just kind of succumb to what's going on at that time. And again, like I said previously, you don't miss what you've never had. And so I looked around and the only thing I seen was drug dealers getting wads of money. So what kid wouldn't want wads of money if it could change their living situation? If it could change their situation at school from them being talked about? Who wouldn't want that?
So you decided I'm not a drug dealer, don't do drugs, never done them in my life. So how does a 13-year-old kid go, I'm going to become a drug dealer? How does that even happen? There's not a course you sign up for.
Yeah.
So you
become
a drug dealer.
Yeah, it was so prevalent that you kind of seen it. It's an even exchange. It's literally that simple. I have something that you want and that you're willing to pay for.
Yeah.
And it's an exchange. And so me growing up seeing it, the transactions take place. Once I ended up going to grandma's house, I had cousins that were on the other end of North Nashville who were already, so we say, off the porch, right? Which means they're already out selling drugs, know how to do it. And so I went over there and I begged them to teach me. And they kicked my butt a couple times. I said, get on away from me. You ain't ready for this. And I would come back the next day and like, man, teach me how to do it. And they taught me how to sell drugs, man. And I never looked back.
Hey there, it's the Real Jason Duncan. Thank you for watching this video. We've got a couple other videos you might be interested in. There's one here and there's one here. But if you are an entrepreneur and you've ever thought about what it's going to be like when you get ready to exit your business, I'm the guy you want to follow. So make sure that you've subscribed to this channel and go check out the link in the description, therealjasonduncan.com. Check out the resources I've got for people just like you, as an entrepreneur who's trying to get his life back, get her life back, get your time and freedom back. If that's what you want as an entrepreneur, if you're being trapped in your business, then I can help you get out of that. So go to therealjasonduncan.com. The link is in the description and check out one of these videos. I'll see you next time.